Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the Caribbean. It is Sunday evening, June 25, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share, subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your ear recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really look for this stuff. Alright, so let us take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can still see that we have Tropical Storm Cindy right there to the northeast of the Caribbean. We can see that we have a tropical wave right there across the main development region. And we can now see that what's left of Tropical Storm Brett is now to the south and west of Jamaica as a tropical wave. It downgraded back to a tropical wave. Taking a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with that tropical wave right there across the main development region, and that's moving towards the west to affect portions of the Windward and Leeward Islands later this week. We can also see the clouds associated with Tropical Storm Cindy right there to the northeast of the Caribbean, still spinning away with majority of its heaviest weather off towards its east side because of all of that wind shear. And we can see the clouds associated with what's left of Tropical Storm Brett, which is now a tropical wave, now affecting portions of Honduras, Nicaragua, with some amount of showers and thunderstorms. And we even had some amount of rainfall from those clouds early this morning across sections of eastern Jamaica. Alright, so let us focus our attention on what was predicted in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for Sunday. It was stated that we would have received some rainfall across sections of eastern Jamaica in the morning, then sections of northern and western Jamaica in the afternoon. And what ended up happening? As early as 1:40 a.m. early this morning, we had the Cuban Doppler radar images showing some greens that represent some moderate rainfall, even some yellows within those greens that represent some strong heavy rainfall across sections of some eastern parishes. So St. Thomas, Portland got in on some of that, and some of these rain bands made it far westward to affect sections of some far southern parishes, as well as some far coastal northern parishes, as well as they move towards the west. Then another post was made at 2:05 p.m. on our Twitter page, highlighting the infrared close-up satellite images showing a lot of sparkling white dust that represents some amount of lightning strikes or lightning flashes. So they definitely got in on some amount of afternoon thunderstorms this afternoon across sections of some western and northern parishes, just as predicted. And we even had confirmation of this rainfall. Firstly, we had Lisa Preety stating, yep, raining in St. Thomas. That was early this morning. Then in the afternoon, we had confirmation of the rainfall, rain and breeze from Charisse, and Mingle Bingley stating it started raining here in Mobay. Even on our Instagram page, we had confirmation of the rainfall. Our Ledge stating raining in Hanover. Official Uncle Sock stating raining in Mobay. And even Chinny stating, as me see this, me hear thunder and the place get dark and in Montego Bay, St. James. So definitely had confirmation of that rainfall. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see where we had those low level clouds that became those cumulonimbus clouds, and they were being streaked off towards the south and the east. Even if we take a look at the current infrared satellite images, we can see that now these deep thunderstorm clouds are dissipating as they've moved off of the land. So we definitely saw that we had majority of the heaviest rainfall and thunderstorms across sections of especially Hanover today. And if we take a look at the latest Cuban Doppler radar images, we can still see some spotty scattered showers off towards the west coast of Jamaica as usual. And if we actually take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, the aggregated precipitation makes sense with what was predicted. So all of these gray shades that we see across eastern Jamaica is the rainfall for the morning. Then northern and western Jamaica is where we saw that rainfall for the afternoon hours. So we definitely got in on that rainfall that was predicted. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can still have 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and as usual as the night progresses, these temperatures should be getting lower. As relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can still see that for the most part, Jamaica should be receiving average temperatures, if not at least 1 degree Celsius above average temperatures, as indicated by those yellow shades that represent at least 1 degree Celsius on the key. We know that the average temperatures for the month of June in Jamaica is about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and when we look at the thermometer, that's the equivalent of 32.2 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 32 to at least 33 degrees Celsius at most. Taking a look at the dry air map, we still see that Jamaica is still embedded in a lot of moist air, as indicated by the blue shade. The dry air is indicated by the yellows, as we can see by the key at the bottom. Then the oranges and the reds and the whites within those reds represent the most dry air, and the driest air is right there off the coast of Africa, and that's in part by the Saharan dust. We can see a lot of brown shades that represent the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Monday. So definitely sections of the Eastern Caribbean might get in on some amount of hazy skies tomorrow. We're not having that much of the hazy weather across sections of Jamaica. We see some slight shades of brown, but it's not that robust as those darker shades of brown that we see across portions of the main development region right there behind Cindy. And if we actually take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow across Jamaica, we can see that we're going to be having 1.5 meter wave heights or less surrounding the island, and that's due to the fact that we're going to be having more of an east-south-easterly flow across the island for tomorrow. And we know what happens when we have that east-south-easterly flow, just like what happened today. We have that air piling up across sections of some northern and western parishes in Jamaica. So all of those cumulus clouds might become cumulonimbus clouds, mainly across sections of some northern and western parishes. So the same spots that received rainfall today, that's where the rainfall is going to be again. And with the wind shear coming in from the southwest, we can see that on both the Euro and the GFS models for 18Z on Monday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Monday. We won't have what we had today, where the wind shear is blowing the clouds off towards the southeast. We're going to be having these clouds being blown off towards the northeast. So the overcast skies, that sections of maybe Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth, even sections of Manchester, got in on this evening or this afternoon. They might not get in on that tomorrow, because all of those thunderstorm clouds, when they develop across northern and western parishes, they're going to be blown off towards the northeast. And if we actually take a look at the precipitation forecast for tomorrow, we can see confirmation that yes, definitely some rainfall in store for sections of some northern and western parishes in Jamaica, as indicated by those blue shades that represent some amount of rainfall. These maps are showing all the rainfall that's expected at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time. So definitely some afternoon rainfall in store. We can see it on the GFS Mall, sections of St. Anne, Trelawney, sections of St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland might get in on some of that. The Euro is a bit more robust, showing more blues from east to central parishes to western parishes, but we know it makes more sense to believe what the GFS is showing, especially considering that the wind flow is coming in from the east-southeast. So all of that air is going to be piling up across sections of some northern and western parishes. So the GFS is making more sense with all of that rainfall across, especially northwestern parishes. So definitely Hanover and St. James, again, get ready for that rainfall. And even the accumulated precipitation forecast is showing some amount of rainfall. These maps are showing all the rainfall that's expected across Jamaica from now up until 10 p.m. on Monday, and we can see the consensus, especially across sections of some northern and western parishes in Jamaica. And we're indeed grateful that we're going to be receiving some amount of rainfall for tomorrow across the island, even although it's not in the spots that we want it to, be across sections of some southern parishes, eastern parishes. I hear you, and we know that we're hot in these areas, Portmore, Kingston, and St. Andrew, but our time is coming. Definitely is coming. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see a lot of clouds bring some amount of overcast sky showers and thunderstorms right there across sections of Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guyana as usual. We can see a lot of clouds coming into sections of Honduras and Nicaragua associated with the remnants of Tropical Storm Brett. We You can see some clouds bring some rainfall to sections of Guatemala and the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. We can see some clouds also bring overcast sky showers and thunderstorms to sections of far southern Florida, the Bahamas, Cuba, sections of Haiti, sections of western Puerto Rico as well. Taking a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, let's see what took place across those areas for today. So starting from about 1:30 p.m. we can see that we had some strong thunderstorms right there off to the western, central and western portions of Puerto Rico. Sections of Guadeloupe might have gotten in on some amount of rainfall, and that's pretty much it. We don't see much in the way of rainfall for majority of the islands. St. Martin, St. Kitts, nothing much in the way of rainfall. St. John's, Antigua and Barbuda, majority of the moisture is right there off towards the northeast associated with Cindy. Taking a look at the Barbados radar, much of the same, don't have much in the way of rainfall. We do see some slight scattered showers coming in from the east, so who knows, maybe some of that might make it into sections of Barbados later on tonight into early tomorrow morning. Taking a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see a lot of rainfall, just like what we saw in the satellite images across sections of southern Florida, the Bahamas, Cuba, sections of Mexico, Guatemala, sections of Nicaragua associated with that tropical wave. We can see some rainfall across sections of Colombia, French Guiana and Suriname as usual. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see average to slightly above average temperatures all across the Caribbean for tomorrow, as seen by both the Euro and the GFS models for 18Z on Monday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Monday, with the highest temperature still across sections of the southern US, especially Texas right there, where they're currently experiencing a heat wave. Let us take a look at the Saharan dust forecast. 2 p.m. on Monday shows some amount of darker shades of brown starting to make its way into sections of the Windward and Leeward Islands. So try to take necessary precautions so that you're not that drastically affected by the Saharan dust if your allergies, asthmatic conditions or sinusitis are triggered by this entity. We don't see much in the way of dust across the central and western Caribbean, only some slight patches of browns, and that's not usually that robust to, cause milky skies or trigger any allergies or anything like that. It's usually the darker shades, and we see some of that starting to entrail into portions of the eastern Caribbean. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that the highest waves right there across portions of the waters to the north and the east of the Caribbean, as indicated by those purple and red shades that indicate up to 2 meter wave heights or more, and the rest of the Caribbean should be experiencing anywhere from 0 to at least 1.5 meters. And that's due to the fact that the strongest winds will be right there off to the north and east of the Caribbean, as indicated by those yellow shades that represent up to 25 knot winds. And we see that on both the Euro and the GFS models, with the Caribbean experiencing the greens that represent up to 20 knot winds coming in from the east southeast. Taking a look at the rain forecast for tomorrow, both the Euro and the GFS models are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Monday, and we do indeed see some rainfall in store for sections of maybe the islands right there. Barbados, don't see much in the way of rainfall across the islands to the west of Barbados, though we see some lighter shades of green. That doesn't mean that they can't get in on some amount of rainfall, it's just not that robust. So that tropical wave that we mentioned coming in from the main development region could start affecting portions of Barbados, especially in the late evening hours of Monday. We can see some rainfall in store for sections of Puerto Rico, especially northern and northwestern Puerto Rico right there. We can see some rainfall as well across sections of the border of Haiti and the Dominican Republic, Cuba, sections of Florida, the Bahamas. Lots of rainfall in store for the southwestern Caribbean. We can see Honduras and Nicaragua picking up to 1 inch of rainfall or more, and we see consensus on both the Euro and the GFS models. The Yucatan Peninsula, sections of Guatemala and Belize might get in on some amount of rainfall. We can see some rainfall as well across sections of Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, especially southwestern Venezuela, not much across northeastern Venezuela. We can see some rainfall as well across sections of Guyana, French Guiana and Suriname as usual. I know that when we have consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Even some rainfall right there across sections of Cayman as well. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.